All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to all of our amazing viewers to this event. We've been looking forward to putting it on for quite some time now with a good friend of mine. The title, the topic of the event today is More Dials, More Deals, how top sales teams are winning with age data. And when I think of age data, there's no one else I think about other than US Marketing Group and my good friend, Jack Burleigh. Jack, it's a pleasure to have you on here today.
Yeah, couldn't be happier to kind of talk about what we're doing with H data and getting people really good results.
Awesome. Yeah, I don't know why there's a little feedback there. I don't know why it was like that, but yeah, it's a pleasure for you to jump on. My name's Chaz Tedesco. I'm the Chief Operating Officer here at CallTools. We have a cloud contact center solution. And, today we're going to talk about age data specifically, and when you talk about age data, there's a lot that I would like to cover today. And I think it's a lot of value out there for every business. Some people think, smaller businesses benefit better from aged leads. Some people think larger corporations are the ones, but I think there's a place for it in everybody's dialing strategy and their outreach and their sales strategy. But Jack, when we talk about age data, you're the expert here. Could you share a little bit more about what that is and kind of how you see it being used?
Yeah, we do a ton of different strategies for business owners that are looking to utilize age data in their Rolodex of leads. It really kind of just depends on the situation. So whenever we do consulting calls with people, and it's stuff that I train our reps to do, is we kind of qualify what they're able to call through, and then we kind of pair it to an age lead that'll essentially fit like how many dials a day that they'll be able to make. And that's why partnering with or having really great relations with services like CallTools. So if a business owner is ever experiencing issues with software, we have a communication line that we can kind of notify Chaz for that their buyer's frustrated, or we can kind of talk to Chaz about different price points of leads, what we think will work for like new stuff that we're developing, and kind of talk to him about his systems to help generate it. But like simply put, when we dumb it down for business owners, we always talk about how many leads can you dial in an hour, and then we go from there. Basically, if you can't dial that many leads, you're going to be doing a lot of long form data, which is just nerdy term for, hey, they saw an ad for solar, it filled out a form for solar. Or if you're doing the multi-line functions, which is what we love, it just kind of gives us more options to kind of feed our business owners different types of data that's cheaper. And then when it's cheaper, it means you can kind of bring on more seats and kind of staff more agents. So it's a blend of different opportunities. And we kind of just wait, listen, talk to business owners about their vision, and then show them like, you'll be able to scale it here, fall off, and then kind of vice versa. You'll be able to go to this point. So does that kind of help a little bit about like what H data is?
I think so. I think you covered a lot really quickly, and I want to break it down and distill it a little bit more for the audience.
Yeah.
Great starting point, great jump off point for today.
Yeah.
So I think for maybe anyone watching that maybe is less, understanding of what age data is, it really is any opt-in web forms that are coming in that are not real time. Right, Jack? So people that are online searching the internet, they're looking for a service. We'll use solar as the example. Maybe looking to potentially put solar panels on their roof. They've opted in to hear from numerous different companies or numerous different opportunities to see maybe if they get the best price or who has the best system to put on their roof. And then those leads are saved, and then they're able to be shared amongst numerous different companies. Is that correct, or am I missing something?
Yeah, and I apologize. I went 100 miles per hour, and
it's okay. It was good stuff.
I do like 9 consulting calls about this, so kind of like I always forget. Some people, when we do prospecting calls, they're like, "I've never heard of age data," and I've been working at an agency selling age data for 7 years, so it's like second nature for me. But yeah, summarized, simply put, it's basically a shared lead, and it's not coming to you in real time. It's always sold in windows. Every marketing agency has a different set of windows. Very popular terms: under 90, under 180, under a year. 30 to 60, 60 to 90, 90 to 180 are all quote unquote call center manager sweet spots, basically.
Yes.
And there's a ton of different windows that I don't really want to talk about. Like people hit us up about like next day leads and stuff like that. Sure. But at that point, Like that's super popular in mortgage trigger leads, essentially.
Yeah, and the reason for it, right? I think the value where the age data plays a part is that you're getting these leads for a lower cost per lead than if you were to get even a real time shared lead. It's coming to you in real time, maybe from a web form, from a publisher or a website or a landing page, or even less so than an exclusive lead that's coming directly to you, right? Is that really the sweet spot where you can get a bigger pool of data to work with your sales team at a better cost point?
Yeah, and it really kind of just helps like either call center managers or business owners. We call it wine taste on a beer budget. We kind of qualify you in the first couple seconds of the sales call, like, hey man, do you have $8,000 to put up for exclusive web forms? Okay, great. Well then, welcome to Age Leads. This is where you're going to make your money.
Sure.
You're just going to need a little bit of like CRM work to kind of just sort through, comb through, and kind of dig through the trash, is what we call it, to find six-figure commission checks or $1,000.
Sure.
What it is.
And I think, and I appreciate you sharing where, using the right technology paired with this data is so important, because like you said, there may not be as high of a quality, but there is gold in the, universe of the age leads, right? Especially as you dig into some of those older durations, stuff that where people were maybe interested 90 days ago, 180 days ago, to be calling those people one at a time, or to be, manually doing outreach to them, you might find that you're not super successful, right? Or that you can't get enough people on the phone that are still interested. But leveraging a dialing technology like CallTools, where essentially you're able to upload that list or those leads, have the system dial and only connect you to the live answers of the people who are on the phone, that already sets you out ahead, because you're not spending a ton of time dialing numbers that maybe aren't picking up, or you're hitting people's voicemail. So I think if you're going to use this type of data, you really have to work it in a way that is meaningful, where you can get in contact with these people at a higher rate. And Jack, you work with thousands. I'd say thousands. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's tens of thousands of clients. What do you see working best when you communicate with them and their strategy to make the data successful?
Yeah, we always recommend getting a CRM to store, manage, and then a multi-line, because riding a bicycle on the Autobahn, you're just going to get passed. And that's kind of what selling virtually is like with a power dialer. And just a reminder, power dialer just calls one at a time, waiting for someone to pick up, and your wait times could be 15 minutes. So biggest thing we always ask a business owner is like, hey, what eggs and what baskets are we working with here? Hey, we really recommend a multi-line, because then it brings down your cost per lead that we can sell you. And then that's just a balancing act that we always do with people, is like, okay, with this call strategy, then we start talking about multi-line. And then I'm sure you would love to talk about like what the CallTools can do with how many different lines out, but we always pair it for the drop rate. We don't want to pair a $5 lead being called at 10 lines at once with a drop rate of basically leaving $5 calls on the floor. So that is just something that we do. And it's like a three-sided, like, teeter-totter. Realistically, we always figure out the data, the dialer, and then the multi-lines, and then we kind of put together a concoction of age data it's going to be appropriate to dial on. But the multi-line, if you're not using a multi-line dialer calling age leads, you're riding a bicycle on the Autobahn.
Right. Yeah, I think that's why we've developed such a great relationship, because you have a lot of amazing customers, and once they get a taste, and I think that's anybody doing outbound, whether it's age data, even with some of your real-time leads, that speed to lead of getting them on the phone immediately, using a dialing solution like what we offer here at CallTools. I didn't plan on talking too much about CallTools, but I mean, it's great that I could share a little bit about it. Using a dialer like ours, you're able to really get people on the phone at a much higher rate. And then it's all about KPIs, right? Whether it's a real-time lead, whether it's age data, whether you're just cold calling, or you're calling somebody who, never opted in, but, somebody that you're trying to reach out. Maybe it's a B2B campaign, or you're calling business owners, or whatever it may be, having the ability to have the system call out for you and only connect you with people that are on the phone and ready to speak. It's just going to make every KPI and every number down the line go up, right?
Yeah.
Because more conversations leads to more appointments booked. More appointments booked leads to more sales, and everything down the line.
We talked about it with just training staff. Like, if you have to wait 10 minutes to try your next like sales call, practice rebuttals and objections and handling it, you're
Sure.
waste. What are we doing for 9 minutes and 59 seconds? Like,
Exactly. Yeah. And
like
that's a turn, even, 2 minutes, between phone calls can feel like an eternity.
mhm,
I think this is a great point to bring in. When I first got introduced to U.S. marketing, I was working with a large solar company. And I had never heard of, age leads or the concept of age data. But I know,
mhm.
I came from an SEO, digital marketing background. We did a lot of in-house, campaigns, generated a lot of leads, were very successful. And then once we started being introduced to the world of age data, it was really interesting, because we were able to see that not only did we have more opportunities, we were getting more conversations, right? Because maybe in a universe where you're just generating leads for yourself or you're getting exclusive leads from one or two partners, you only have a limited amount of people you can reach out to in a day, whereas you could double your pool of contacts or potential leads. And now you have a lot more data that you can follow up with and communicate with. So we
Yeah.
saw something very interesting. And Jack, I'd like for you to validate this for me. But this was our experience that, we tried all different, varieties back when, the under 7-day age leads, under 30, under 60, under 180. And this was solar. And we actually had a lot of success, believe it or not, on the stuff that was a little older, right? Some of the
Mhm.
under 90 or under 180-day age data. And I think the reason for that was, maybe when they were first opting in for solar, they didn't really know what they were getting into. They had 5 companies calling them. They got burnt out. And now, you wait a couple months later and you're the only company that is reaching out. And you say, hey, I saw Jack, you were interested in solar. Oh, yeah, we were looking at that. We decided to take a pause, but yeah, we're open to it again.
Yeah.
So in tracking our KPIs and our analytics, we had a really high success rate, and actually our cost per acquisition on that data, right? Because Jack, correct me if I'm wrong, that data is priced a little bit more aggressively the older it gets, but we found a really nice sweet spot, and that's just my personal experience, and I'm sure it varies for everybody. But
It's funny because one of my comments before was like every call center manager has their sweet spot. They're like go-to that they kind of just go from lead aggregator to lead aggregator. Hey, give me this
sure.
price. I love this window. I love this window. Give me this. Give me this. And the analogy we give it to, especially in solar, because solar is a long sales process and it's really easy to jump in at the end, right? We talk to business owners like, hey, your cost per lead will come down significantly. Under 30 days, 5, closer to 6 to 12 months, you're at 25 cents. Like, why not just be the last pitch, right? Or
Right.
pick up breadcrumbs. And we kind of talk about this in basketball. You're not going to be pressed very hard if you're trying to take a full court shot, right? That's like a 6 to 12-month-old lead. Like, you're going to have to throw a lot more balls, right? But if it hits, you're gonna feel like
I
you're gonna
like
have
that. That's a great
you're gonna have
analogy.
a super
Yeah.
low cost KPI. But if you're doing real time exclusive leads, right, you're basically sitting under the bucket, and there's a full defense there trying to swat at you. There's 2 or 3 other companies trying to just win the bid as well. So that's kind of the analogy that we give people. And can you afford to sit under the bucket? Or do you have a VA system where it's Filipino callers, 5 people on payroll, $300 a week, plus call tools, like, and you're a sales dealer, not even an EPC, and you're just trying to figure out marketing for under $5,000? That's the
Right.
perfect situation. Call tools, VAs, base pay plus kickers. Always recommend that. And then age data where it's under 25 cents. Use a multi-line dialer, keep the callers busy, and appointments will flow in.
That's incredible.
That's the idea versus like sitting under the basket or picking up breadcrumbs in the back. So everybody has their sweet spot though.
You said 7 years, Jack. It shows, man. You really know what you're talking about here, and I think the analogies make it very clear for everybody too.
Yeah.
What you're sharing.
Well, I joined an industry in college that I basically just needed a sales job and I had no idea what a lead was. So like I've developed these analogies because I know there's individuals that sit on the other side of the screen that are just too prideful to ask like, oh, I don't know what that means. So like
Sure.
dumbing it down is kind of how I've grown a customer
That's why
base.
I wanted to back it down. In the beginning,
Yeah.
you came out with a lot of value, real hot, real fast. Let's just slow down.
Yeah.
A lot of people, because again, there's a lot of people that may not be leveraging this channel today, right?
Mhm.
They may not have an age lead channel or know that that's even a possibility for for opt-in people. Again, these are people that do want to hear about your product or service, that have filled out a form to learn more, and they're out there, and there's a price point that might make sense for you, that you might find other opportunities out of your reach. And there's a lot of people out there that are still dialing. They're pulling up an Excel spreadsheet, they're dialing off of their cell phone.
Oh my God,
You probably talk to them all the time, Jack. You know what, Jack? You start on row 63. I'll start on row 1, and we'll work down and up towards each other so we don't overlap. And I'll highlight mine in green, and you highlight yours in purple. And maybe at the end of the day, we'll talk to 3 people.
I know. Those are the people that frustrate them. Well, it's like, okay. Whatever works for you works for you. Right. But that may be the bicycle on the Autobahn. When I consult people, I'm like, hey, we can spend all this time learning a system, right? You trying to implement it and breaking it and then figuring it out and then getting good results, that could take 3 months. If you just know how to swing a hammer and hit a nail by calling off an Excel file, that's why we have long form leads. Like, that's why age lead long forms exist, because dialing success ratios could be 1 to 30. And we talk a lot, like, this is very common in the door-to-door space, where people are like, hey, I want to try age leads. I've seen it's like a buzzword, right? I want to try age leads. I want to try calling before I knock. And every single time they'll call with an Excel file on their cell phone, and they'll call, not even with a local presence. And I'm just like, oh, well, pray to God this works, but we're doing this so wrong. But we do have clients that have more sales experience than I've been alive, that are like, no, kid, just shut up, sell me the leads. I'm going to call it through Excel, and if it's good, it's good. And we do get reorders off of it. There are incredible salesmen out there that just need someone on the phone, and they can turn someone into an appointment. So it does work. It's not what I recommend though, because it's just painful. I'd rather pay you to get a CRM than just call with Excel.
Again, it all comes down to, and I did an event a couple of weeks back. We talked a lot more on the KPIs and measuring and monitoring what you do, within your business. But yeah, everything is a numbers game, right? How many leads do you have as your first starting point, your bucket of opportunity? How many conversations can you then have, in a period of time, right? Maybe you could talk to all of them over a 2-month period, but how quickly can you have as many conversations as possible, to meetings being booked, to, maybe confirmed meetings if you want to get super granular, to, SAT meetings, to sales, right? And tracking that all the way through. And I think, like anything, right, age data is a great channel. It's a great source for your outbound efforts and for what you're doing. But you need to track it, in its own realm, right? You can't track the conversion of an aged, lead pool versus an exclusive real-time lead pool versus cold calling data, right? If you try and say, oh, well, this lead source has exclusive leads that are only coming to me, I'm paying top dollar, $60 a lead, is working so much better than these leads, you got to look at your overall spend and your cost per acquisitions as well. And as long as you always do that, and you have a way to do that, right? In CallTools, it's just what I know the best, having been here for so long, tracking your call dispositions, knowing what's happening on these records, how many were, a sale or an appointment or a wrong number, and having those percentages to watch really closely. That's something I believe our software does really well. You can look at your connection rates, you can look at your conversion rates in real time, you get every call disposition. And Jack, that makes your life easier too, because when customers can share that data with you and show you, well, hey, Jack, this worked, this didn't work, this kind of worked, I think it helps you, work with that customer to identify, what the future relationship potentially looks like and how, you can give them more success.
Exactly. Devil's in the details, right? And if you're riding a bicycle on the Autobahn, you're never going to know. Or if you're calling through Excel, you're never really going to have a predictable, scalable result that you can kind of grow. That's what a call center is all about, is hey, I'm going to take 2 agents, I'm going to make them call center managers, and I'm going to put fucking 10 people under them. That's the system that you can do any day of the week and provide overrides to those call center managers. So you as a business owner don't have to create a revolving door that you have to manage. And leveraging foundation on what your vision is based off of CallTools. If you want an all-inclusive system that basically you can come to an aggregator, provider, publisher like myself, right, and just basically take in bulk information, sort it, call it, and then get results with it, you need software. You're never going to be able to do that with just calling it off of Excel and praying to God that a deal comes through. And if you are using systems like that, we're providing you Excel lists. You can just say, I got 3 sales from these phone numbers from this Excel file. Please track down the source and find more and keep funneling that in. Like, it's not rocket science. It's just a pain in the ass.
It's just a matter of what makes your life more seamless and how can you focus on revenue generating activities, right? What's going to make you more successful. So that's incredible, Jack. This was a quick one, but I think it was a relevant one, because we get it all the time. At CallTools, we really rarely, I don't think we ever refer any lead vendors or brokers, but Jack's a great friend of mine, and we've definitely talked through the past. We've had some mutual customers as well. And we love working with you guys at US Marketing. So Jack, real quick, just as we're closing out here, I'm going to share your contact information. I have a slide here for everybody. At US Marketing, what are the top industries you guys work with? Who do you provide leads for?
Biggest, hottest verticals I would say right now would most likely be the health insurance and ACA industry. Mortgage hopefully is coming back. Debt, we have a ton of good debt clients that love us, tax debt especially. And then our home services has always been a staple of mine. I like talking to those guys. So I love solar, I love roofing, home improvement, windows and doors, absolutely. Pest and security, we can get you lists for, but just kind of recapping. Insurance, if you're doing anything insurance, give us a call. If you're doing anything mortgage, give us a call. Debt and home improvement, come talk to me.
Amazing.
7 years of having the same conversation. I did it through COVID.
And listen, I know you work in a tough industry. There's a lot of lead vendors out there. There's a lot of brokers out there. A lot of people have age data. You don't know who to trust. You don't know who to work with. And again, it's not always the data that's at fault. That's why I think this is so important, is to talk about the process and the measuring and the procedures. I'm sure, again, it's not common. I don't hear it a lot, from our mutual customers, but maybe once in a while there's a file that's just for some reason not the best, right? So to have the tracking and everything behind that, and to be able to come back and say, hey, Jack, listen, we've been working together for 3 years. For whatever reason, this last, batch, I don't know what happened, but to be able to see that and track it and measure it and monitor it, I'm sure it goes a long way, and there's things you could do to help there as well. Yeah.
If you're bringing us accurate dialer reports with call dispositions, how can I argue with you? If you've called it 10 times and you're like, here's the results, I'll just be like, that's probably not working for you. I'm sorry about that week of hell you just went through. I'm buying around for the call center. My bad. And we'll get you sorted next week. It's kind of the staple, and that's something that I was trained here at US Marketing Group, is always try and work with your buyer. It's always easier to keep a buyer than find a new one, and just be as honest as you can with them without letting them walk all over you. You got to get us a dialer report and disposition so we can work for you. That's our goal.
Yeah, your name, you've always, I hear nothing but good things. That's why I was really happy to get you on the webinar here and to connect with you. Like I said, we wouldn't do this with just anybody. So, it really is great to hear your name. I hear it come up every so often, when I talk to people that are, I don't even know they're going to bring your name up. Oh, yeah, I work with Jack Burleigh, US Marketing. So the fact you guys have been in the industry a long time, you're very knowledgeable about what you're talking about. And I think you do try and find the right fit for people. You're not just trying to sell them, buy the under 30-day leads, or the high, they're the most expensive. You're trying to find that sweet spot and to really work with people to find what's going to be successful. I think that's really cool.
We always try and stay within your budgeted guidelines. I'm going to tell you, if you're trying to do a call center for $2,000, you're going to be calling homeowner data and getting a lot of no's, and you better have an iron ear for it. But if you bring us $100,000, we'll put you basically a really great strategy between live transfers, real-time exclusives, and then complementing with VA staff that we can introduce you to, overseas callers that we know that work, and then blended with H data. That's the realm. I started at US Marketing Group literally sleeping there, on the office floor.
I love it.
This is at this point, right? I've heard every story, I've heard every complaint, I've seen every winning solution, and at this point now, I have 4 sales staff that bring me connected calls, and I get to talk to business owners all over the U.S. So I know what's working right now and right here. So definitely give us a call.
Awesome. And then last, you keep triggering me on different thoughts, and we'll wrap up in just a minute here. But I recently saw Gary Vaynerchuk. He did one of those events, and he posted a quick little video. And somebody came up to him. I guess he was trying to get funding for his startup. I forget what the company was. He's like, Gary, I'm so burnt out. Nobody wants to fund my business. Nobody wants to work with me. And he goes, well, how are you finding these people? What are you doing? Oh, well, I'm doing outreach on LinkedIn. He goes, okay, well, that's amazing. That's a great way to do it. That's actually probably what I would have recommended as one of your strategies. How many people have you reached out to? Oh, I've
7.
reached out to 25. He goes, what? Are you out of your mind? He goes, you need to be reaching out to 200 people a day.
That's
day.
right.
And then when you do that for 3 months and nobody wants to give you money, then come back and we'll talk to you. So it's, when there's a culture out there where you really have to work hard. These things don't come easy. We're only talking about the data and the platform, right? But there's a whole other realm of this, and maybe we have to do a part 2, Jack, where we talk about the agents and the scripting and the drive, because that's so important too. I don't think we have enough time on today's show to get into that, but I mean, there's a whole nother piece to this that will really help, ensure that you're going to get the most success out of these things.
Yeah, absolutely. We should do another one where we talk about how a sales rep here at US Marketing Group runs a consultation and kind of shows you like how to budget for 90 days of data. Basically, these are the goals that you need to hit to be profitable. That's the hardest thing is like, I'm spending money hand over fist, and I don't know if this first week, if I'm going to come out the second week profitable. And sometimes business owners just need a back rub and being like, no, dude, you said the data sucks. You guys booked 12 appointments. Like, you just haven't, we haven't ran the sales process yet.
Where's the pull through? How many times did you call each lead? Did you call it 1 or 2 times and let it die on the vine? Or did you call it, 15 times over the course of 2 weeks, once a day or twice a day? To stay in front of them. Are you leveraging any other channels, email, text messaging? So there's a lot to this, and Jack, I think that's it. We're going to have to pick a date for event number 2 here and continue the series. But anything else as we wrap up here? I hope everyone got a ton of value today. You learned a little bit about age data if you didn't already. If you did already know about age data, I hope you learned a little bit about how to leverage it to its max capacity. Right? Trying different things. You have to try it, or else you're not going to know. So trying the different age durations that Jack was speaking about, pairing that with a power dialer like CallTools or any other power dialer out there. Obviously, I would love to see you come talk to us at CallTools and we'll take care of you. But being able to make that channel work is extremely, extremely important. And for us, when I was in solar, we had a large organization. I think in our call center, we have about 300 to 500 agents, depending on what time you look at in the history. And age data was one of our top, highest converting and most profitable channels for business. So I know it could be very powerful if used properly and paired with the proper technology, process, and people. Jack, anything final before we wrap it up here?
Yeah, call the leads. It'll make you money.
Call more leads. Put down the pen and pick up the phone. That's what we always use to say. So if you're looking to get in contact with myself for CallTools or Jack, I'm going to put our information up on the screen here. And thank you guys so much for attending. It's been incredible. And again, if you want to reach out, there's my information and Jack's information as well. We would love to work with you. And again, I think Jack's like myself, where we kind of step over the barrier of CallTools just being a software platform and US marketing just being a data broker. We're going to sit down, we're going to understand what you're trying to accomplish, and we're going to try and point you in the right direction no matter what. Yeah, and we'll tell you if it's not going to work, just straight out the gate too. We're not. Right. Brutally honest. I mean, that's how I operate. I'm over here in New Jersey, so brutally direct and honest. So thank you, everybody. Have an incredible, incredible rest of your day, and we look forward to hearing from you soon. Thank you.